sponsored by Prop Juice, squeezing profits out of every wager. AI worth the squeeze, and Skybox Sports Network. Get your dream sports ticker and your live odds boards at Skybox Sports Network. Welcome in, everybody. It's week 7. I can't believe it's week 7 already. Of Man versus the Machine, we focus on the intersection of expert-based capping and AI-generated projections in this fast-growing world of sports betting. I'm Steve Shellman. This is Brian Riner. We'll be taking you through the NFL slate this week. Brian's a world-renowned poker player, has been capping games well before the boom of online sports gambling, and I've spent the majority of my career building quantitative models to explain, forecast, and predict human behavior, such as pro athletes, sports, and stats, right? So specifically, my team has started to basically take our automated data pipelines that we've built for the Defense Department, now the Department of War, that we've been doing for about 15 years or so now, and turn it all on the sports world. So taking all that technology that we've built for the Department of Defense, turn it on the sports world to forecast game outcomes and player stats. And now those insights are beginning to be packaged in an application that we call Prop Juice. Today, we're going to discuss the various betting angles from both Brian's human expert side and the Prop Juice AI data-backed machine perspective, and hopefully make more informed picks regarding spreads, money lines, totals, and our best human machine generated prop picks. Okay, so I'll set it up again. Brian's going to talk about key issues affecting teams and players and how that impacts lines and angles. I'm going to show you what all the models are saying about the latest game and player projections for the week. And then we're going to focus on a few games, use the insights from both Brian's expert perspective and the AI modeling perspective, see where we agree and disagree this week on some key games. So Brian agreed to do his research this week on a set of games that we agreed on in advance, and then I'm going to bring the Prop Juice app today. We're going to go through the slate, and we're going to simultaneously figure out where the best bets of the week are. But before we do that, I think we probably need to recap last week. The Chiefs, the refs. Do we need to talk about the refs, Brian? I mean, goodness gracious. There's a research article published recently that Barstool Sports kind of put out all over the web that was just hilarious, talking about the advantage that the refs give the Chiefs in the playoffs. How that game ended with the Lions, and then, we're going to have to talk about some of the other big wins that we had of the week. But let's start with that Chiefs game and talk a little bit about the ref drama and everything else, Brian. What you got for us? How was your week?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great week. I mean, we had the Rams covering over the Ravens, which was a win. We had the Pats covering over New Orleans, which was a win. Spread money lines on both. We even squeezed that line a little bit. Even got the 6.5, the 7.5 up to the 10.5 on the Rams. Carolina Dallas game was an absolute nightmare. It was the only game I lost. Cost me a $9,000 parlay. I wasn't happy. Neither were my
You didn't
remotes.
listen to the AI, man. AI had Carolina covered in that game. I told you that.
I know, and it was absolutely brutal. I mean, I got a little hedge about halfway through the game because I just didn't like it. And, like every broadcast, I talk about Dak being Dak. And I just should have – I didn't like the game. I ended up using it because I just was looking for one more to put in there. And I'm like, it is Carolina. But anyway, that was the only game I lost. It sucked, though. It hurt bad. It hurt really bad. But – you know what? On the Detroit, I gave out Detroit as my dog of the week. And, I mean, besides the Kelsey catch, which wasn't a catch, and the phantom flag going, for pass interference that would have given the ball back to Detroit, they screw us on the opening kickoff, the opening touchdown, where he goes in. He's a back. He doesn't have to set. I mean, everyone's talked about that at length. I mean, it was just a joke. And then for UTEP to come out with the scientific study. I mean, I didn't need a scientific study to tell me that Casey gets the benefit of every freaking call. But it was good to see it so that I could shut some of these KC fans up and say, come on, man. I mean, it's obvious. There's so many people on Instagram and X, that post memes and say, oh, look at Mahomes get this. And, it's just like, it's such a joke for anyone to say that it doesn't happen. Obviously it did, but it was really interesting reading the article that it coincides with their rise. Now listen, they were a good team. I'm not going to take anything against them. Were they as good as they were in the Super Bowls they won and the deep playoff runs? No, they weren't. And I remember at the beginning of the season, I said KC doesn't make the playoffs. And I'm still sticking with that. So anyway, I think this, I think from an entertainment, which is now what they call the NFL, for them to go 2-4, if they lose that game to the Lions, they're done. I mean, it's basically over for them. Even with the meltdown of Baltimore. But the way it happened, I mean, I don't know. Like I just think it was a tragedy. Overall, it was just an absolute tragedy. So anyway, yeah, that's that kind of.
I was disappointed. I mean, I'll take a different tact. I mean, I definitely think the officials had an effect on the game, but I think Detroit got outplayed. I think that Amon-Ra St. Brown's drop on 4th down basically was the turning point in that game. So in the first half, when he has that drop on 4th down, they're about to go up 11, right? I mean, if they score the touchdown,
exactly.
Right? So assuming they get the first down, they're in the red zone. They're like 15, 20 yards from the end zone at that point, I think. And so, if you assume they score the touchdown, they go up 11. Instead, goes down the field, scores, gets the ball after halftime, scores. They go up 10. It's like you have a 21-point swing right there. That's the game. But
also being down safeties and a nickel, and then Kirby gets hurt in the game. I mean, Detroit's heading towards the same issue they had last year, and it's injuries. And I hope that's not the case, because I think they got the talent. Hutch is back playing well. The receivers, are playing very well. Laporta's an absolute beast. Even Goff, I've never thought of him as an elite top end NFL quarterback because he throws too many picks when he gets frustrated. But, he's even playing well. The backs are playing extremely well. It's just sad to see, would they have won the game? They got to look inward first. But it still was like, it's just always KC. I had some guy on Twitter was like, oh, you lost, so you're complaining. I'm like, I showed him my 13-leg parlay. It doesn't even have KC on it. If I can go without KC for an entire weekend, I don't play it, just because I've seen this and these phantom flags happen so often over the last 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, I should have known better, man. I'm killing myself. I felt really bad that night because basically before that game started, I had a parlays going, like all kinds of parlays. Like I think I had like 25, 30 different parlays going with 10, 12, 13 legs on it because we'd had this run, right?
Yeah.
We'd won every game.
Everything, yeah.
I'd picked every game right. Prop Juice picked every game right up until that game. And so at that moment in time, I calculated my cash outs. And if I had cashed out, I'd have had $7.5 thousand. And instead, I let it all ride, and I ended up with like 3.
It's terrible. I know. We had a losing week. I mean,
the 7 was going to turn into 20, So, like, if I cashed out,
we went 3 for 4 and had a losing week. That should never happen.
If I didn't cash out, I was going to have 20. And I was like, okay, I got to let it ride. But I was dumb. I should have cashed out half of them. I should have taken the money lines off. I should have kept the 7.5s and the 10.5s and taken the 3.5s and the money lines off, right? That's what I should have done. I mean, 20/20 hindsight or something like that. I should have just reevaluated. But anyway, I kind of got screwed by the refs and Mahomes again. Baker came through though, and he won as the models predicted. The Rams covered, like you said. The Colts won. They didn't cover, but I played a -2.5 and an over 22.5 points. Kind of a team total that cashed at a high value. And then they were in that dogfight though with the Cardinals, which was like, it was making me nervous, man. Midway through that game. We went undefeated in that first window and that second window, and then that Lions game really killed me. So unfortunately, I have to live and learn from that. But we cashed a lot of props. We cashed some team totals, which have been doing really well. And then we came through at the end because we picked both upsets on Monday night. So we had both the Bears and the Falcons plus the points on Monday Night Football and cashed both of those. And so those were big wins on Monday night. So that actually came through for us, made up a little bit for that Detroit debacle. So from the cave, Man versus Machine, sponsored by Prop Juice. AI worth the squeeze. Prop Juice is a full suite AI sports pick app delivering data-driven game picks and prop bets right to your mobile phone and favorite web browser. Prop Juice can sync your bets across multiple books, recommend the top dog of the day, and break down multiple models of each week's game. We got the NBA coming up, tipping off on October 21st. That's a week from yesterday. So we have the NBA coming to our app very shortly. Sign up for your platform platinum level subscription at propjuice.ai. Prop Juice is AI worth the squeeze. Put our sponsor's code in at checkout and get 10% off with your code Skybox10. Again, sign up propjuice.ai, Skybox10 at checkout. Get 10% off your first month's platinum level subscription over there at Prop Juice, and you'll easily win that back if you take, any of our bets, because they're cashing like crazy these days. Our spreads are really going well, so put in like 3 or 4 straight bets on the spreads. You'll easily make your money back on your subscription. All right, so with that in mind, I think we should turn our attention to the Chargers and the Colts, Brian. The Chargers are banged up on the offensive line. There's still no Alt. He's questionable still. Omarion Hampton's on IR. Their 2 guards are questionable. Vidal put on a mini show against the Dolphins, but we're not so sure how impressive that really is, right? Because it was the Dolphins. He had 18 carries for 124 yards and a long of 38. Herbert was 29 of 38, 264 yards, 2 touchdowns, but they barely snuck out that win against the Dolphins. And the Dolphins put up 27 on that Chargers D. That makes me a little nervous about this game. The Colts, meanwhile, were in a bit of a dogfight with the Cardinals, which we just mentioned. Kyler didn't play. Jacoby Brissett put on a show. He is 27 of 44 for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. He did have 1 pick, but still impressive against that Colts defense, especially coming in as a backup. Marvin Harrison left with a concussion, and then the Colts D's a bit banged up. So their starting cornerback, Kenny Moore, was out last week. And their backup running back, Tyler Goodson, was out. He didn't play. And then they lost starting cornerback, Tre'Davious Ward, in a concussion. So it looks like he might not play this week. So they got a little bit of a banged-up defense. We're not sure about Moore playing this week, or I would imagine Ward with a concussion probably won't. So that's kind of – looks like they could be without some key guys again this week. So both teams' health is an issue. And, it's probably going to be a close game if they were both healthy, and it's probably going to be a close game now that they're both unhealthy. So who you got in this one and why?
Yeah, I was just refreshing an injury report to see if there was anything else. What I was very impressed with, I know Omarion Hampton being out is gonna hurt them, but Vidal looked really good, and I like him coming out of the backfield. Catching those little swing passes and little screen passes. I mean, he's super fast. He runs hard. It kind of reminds me of Pacheco with better hands. And the one thing about the Colts is, they allow the 4th most targets to a running back. So that's going to be open for him. They allow the fourth most targets, to the receivers. At 14 per game. So I think that's going to help the Chargers. Also the Chargers being at home should also help them. The 4th most receiving touchdowns to a wide receiver. They allow the 4th most yards to a receiver. So I think I went with the Chargers -2. I think this is
they're going to have to protect though, right? I mean, the line's going to
they're going to have to protect, and that's going to be the key. Are they going to be able to protect Herbert and let him get it out there? But I like, if they, Harbaugh's a smart enough guy to realize that he's got an advantage here if they run very quick plays, which will kind of offset you being, banged up on the offensive line, getting those little quick cross passes, those little G route passes, those little, option outside little swing passes. So I went with the Chargers here. I'm still not totally sold on the Colts. I like Danny Dimes. I think the Colts are a good team, but I'm not quite sold on them based on the schedule that they played this year. And they didn't look great last week at all. I mean, they should have blown that Cardinals team out. So anyway, I went with the Chargers -2. So, I'm wondering how that stacks up against AI this week.
So AI has the Chargers winning on the money line, but it's a very small probability. It's that probability that kind of is like iffy, right? It's the 0.55 money line, right? 55% probability that they win, right? And then it has the Colts covering the +1.5, which makes this really interesting, right? So you got basically a 1-point game that we're showing. So we got scores of let's see, let me look at these scores here. We got scores of 24-22 Chargers Colts. That's actually the book score. So if you look on DraftKings right now, the team totals are 22 and 24, or they're like over 22.5 and 23.5, right? So you can kind of assume. And what I've been doing the last few weeks, I've been tracking my power rank model. And our power rank model is about 0.97 correlated with the book, man, which is kind of interesting, right? I've been seeing it. It's really the book model, right? Because it's got a spread of -1.6. The book's got a -1.5, at least DraftKings. Okay, there's probably different book prices out there, as there always are, but we're right around that -1.5, -2, right? And the money line for this game is 75 versus 70, probably with that VIG having an impact, right? So we're probably right at 70, -1.5. So, and today, as we go through the AI, you're going to see this model really correlating with the book. I mean, it's really interesting as we kind of go through it. So it doesn't mean the book is right? It doesn't mean this model's right. It just means that it's kind of like, it's got a pretty good track record of like at least estimating what the bookmakers are thinking, right? Which is great. Anyway, we got a 24-22 Chargers on that particular model, but we also have a blowout by the Colts, which is kind of odd. We've got a 32-20 game in one of our models. That's a very big outlier, so that's our biggest spread. And then we've got, Colts by 6. Colts by 6, Colts by 4, Chargers by 2, Colts by 2, Chargers by 3. So, I mean, we've got all kinds of different spreads going on in here. Our consensus spread, though, is Chargers +4, 3.5, and Chargers money line. So it's a real tough game to play in AI. So you could take the money line on one bet, perhaps, and then you could also take the Colts cover. And if you think both of these things are right, and they both can be right, right? We could have a 23-22 game or a 24-22 game or something like that. So the AI is kind of on both sides of this. That's saying it's signaling close game to me. So, I mean, I think it is going to be a close game. I just don't know.
I mean, I think I think the game's going to
the offensive line for the Chargers, and if they can hold on.
Right. I think you're going to have to run quick patterns. I mean, listen, with Charvarius Ward and Moore both questionable. I mean, if one of those guys doesn't play, if they both don't play, I mean, who are you going to put on McConkey, Gazin, Harris, Vidal coming out of the back room, Allen? I mean, like, I just think Herbert's going to pick them apart with short, crisp, fast routes. And I think he can take advantage of that to kind of, kind of fix his issue that he might have with the offensive line being banged up. So anyway, it was a tough game. I mean, I kind of, I spent a lot of time going on. I was really looking for something that stood out. And I just, I think with the banged up backs with Indy trying to cover those. Listen, McConkey's he's a stud, man. I mean, I love to watch this kid play. He gets open. He reminds me of Edelman with Brady for a lot. Allen is he's older, but he's solid. He's a veteran. Gadsden looked really good last week. I think he had like 70 or 80 yards. So anyway, I went with the Chargers. It's a tough game though.
Yeah, it is a tough game. It'll be a good game. Reminder from the cave, Man vs. Machine is sponsored by Prop Juice, squeezing profits out of every wager. It's AI worth the squeeze. Sign up at propjuice.ai. Get that platinum level subscription to be able to break down all the models and get those signals for making all your parlays and choosing winners at propjuice.ai. AI worth the squeeze. Okay, so let's jump into this second game. The second game we got for you today is the Bucs and the Lions. I think this is going to be another good one, just like that Chargers game, right? So the Lions disappointed us on Sunday night. That was our pick of the week, unfortunately. They were nowhere close. St. Brown dropped that fourth down ball, which was the turning point, which we talked about in terms of my opinion. I saw Boomer Esiason saying that he disagreed with that call, that Goff never fixed his hands under center to declare himself the quarterback. So he actually just tapped.
He's a back.
And goes in mission.
Yeah, it's like a wildcat.
Yeah. And so I think that's a really horrible call. There was that no call on Juju that got Brian Branch in a tizzy, and now he's suspended for this game, which I think is horrible for the Detroit Lions, man. I mean, that's not what Detroit needs when Baker's coming to town, right? So every week we rave about Baker Mayfield playing, a play or a 2-minute drive or a comeback. And this week, it's like, he's got the scramble shoes. He's got that long ball too. I saw it on ESPN. But for Baker and the Bucs, I mean, dude, he is sick, man. I mean, that scramble was insane. And then he throws that ball to Tez Johnson, man, who knew? If you don't remember the game day special on college football from a few years ago, that's Bo Nix's brother. I don't know if you guys know that. But Tez Johnson, who caught that fingertip catch, man, he was kind of halfway adopted by the Knicks family. He spent 6 years with the Knicks family. They consider him family. They're brothers.
Yeah, basically. He wanted him to go to Oregon, so he came up there and they took him in. Yeah,
exactly, sure. Man. So, I mean, he catches that ball, man. By the way, that was so funny when he thought the MVP chants were for him.
I know.
He's like, I ain't done nothing. What are they cheering MVP for? They're like, they're talking about Baker, man. He's like, oh, yeah, okay, Baker, yeah.
Yeah. So this is another one of those games, man. I looked at this for a long time because I'm like, Lions at home are a different team, but they're pretty banged up. Losing Kirby also is going to hurt them. Branch is suspended. And Baker just seems to always find a way to win. I looked at this game. I wanted to go Lions. I felt like Lions, they're going to be pissed off after what happened. But I think the bottom line is this line came out at 5.5, which, to be totally honest with you, on my independent study, I had this game coming out at 3. So when it came out at 5.5,
2.5 to 3.5, it's a field goal game. Man.
And so I was like, you know what? At 5.5, it was the swing, line that I needed to. I was like, what do I need to be able to take Tampa? And it was like 5, 6, 7, somewhere in there. And so I was like, and I don't even need to squeeze the line and lose Vig. So Lions allow the most targets. I mean, without the running game of Bucky Irving, for Tampa, that could hurt them a little bit. So I weighed that a little bit. But I just think this is going to come down to a field goal game. Lions kick a field goal to win it. Tampa kicks a field goal to win it. I mean, I just think that's the type of game we're going to see. I think it's going to be high scoring. I love the over in the game. I was just looking to see on Skybox if the over was moving. It's gotten a little bit of steam, but I like the over, and I'm going to go with Tampa just with the line at 5.5.
Yeah, and so that power rank model that I've been talking about has got a 26 to 22 game, which is a 4-point game. So it's not quite 5, right? But it's a 4-point game. And it has actually the Lions winning that game. So it's got the Lions winning, and it's got the Lions by 4. Like the book has the Lions winning, the Lions by 5.5. So it's pretty closely tracking, but not as close as it was on the other game. But then our consensus money line across all the models, is the Bucks win this game. 0.52 is our consensus money line. And our spreads are, we've got definitely, the one I just talked about, where did the Lions win? And we got another one where the Lions win by 7. But for the most part, the Bucks, I got one where the Bucks win by 3. The Bucks win by almost 4. The Bucks win by a point. And then they cover by a point. They cover by 3. Yep. They cover by 3. So, I mean, literally, this is a 3-point game both directions, according to AI.
Right. That was the only thing that moved. If this was 2.5, I go Lions. This was 3, I go Lions. If it was 3.5, I would probably buy it down to 3 for the Lions. But 5.5, it just seems, and then the original over-under came out at like 51. Now it's 52.5. So it is moving up. But I see that's what I see, like a 34-30, 32-27. That's where I see a high scoring. I see a lot of points going on the board with the both, the corners beat up for the Lions. I think Baker's gonna pick that apart. The Lions are gonna need to get in his face, and he's pretty good at getting out of that. So anyway, I went Tampa. I went Tampa 5.5. We'll see if we can get there. I'll take some money line a little bit, take the points, and then I'll take some 7.5s.
Same. I think I might take some plus 4.5s or plus 3.5s with the Bucks, just because I think it might be a field goal game, and maybe be able to squeeze some points, squeeze some juice out of that a little bit, because the original spread's 5.5, so you can take it up to 3.5 maybe. You could do something crazy, and if you really think the Lions are going to win this game, but the Bucks are going to cover, you could do something like a Lions money line and Bucks plus 7.5. That'd probably pay like 150 or something like that. So anyway, there's lots of different things you could do on this game. I think it's going to be a close one. So with that in mind, let's take a short break with a word from our sponsor, Skybox Sports Network. Hey guys, I'm Steve Shellman, the founder of Prop Juice. head on over and get your live odds boards over at Skybox Sports Network. And get 10% off your live odds boards or your sports tickers over at Skybox Sports Network. Available on Amazon and on their website. You can check out all the latest odds. Right here we got player props. Washington Commanders. Live right now, Jaden Daniels, over 228 passing yards, minus 115. You think he's going to go over? What about Jordan Love? He's over 234, minus 115. You think he's going to go over? Check out your odds all day long. We got receiving props. We got wide receiver, longest rush, or rushing props for running backs, and wide receiver props, longest pass, receptions, receiving yards. We got all the odds from NCAA football, the NFL, MLB, WNBA, NHL. It's all available right here on your live odds board. Get your live odds board from Skybox Sports Network. Get 10% off with code PROPJUICE at checkout. Get your best bet at Prop Juice? Go check out the best price from Skybox Sports Network. Get your odds board at Skybox Sports Network. Okay, we're back. So Denver's flying back from London to play the rookie tandem of Scatterboo and Dart, baby, from the Giants. They put on a show and fired up their fan base last week. Scatterboo had almost 100 yards, 3 touchdowns. Dart threw for 195 and added 58 on the ground. I mean, these two just look like a pair coming in the league. They don't even know anything about the league. They're just like, let's go, baby, let's go, right? They're so ignorant, I think, about what might be, you know, and then they just come in and play hard, man. They played really good the last couple weeks, man. Meanwhile, Denver's defense played well, as they always typically do. That offense is sputtering a little bit, man. They couldn't really get the running game going. Knicks missed some deep balls that could have changed that game more in their favor. So, you know, Denver, Bo Nix, you know, is playing Scatterboo and Dart coming to town. Is at Denver. So who you got in this one?
So remember weeks 1 and 2, everyone was like trashing Scatterboo. I think he had 5 yards and 12 yards. I think he actually was even negative the first game or something. And then all of a sudden, this guy, man, is exciting to watch. I really like him a lot. I mean, then he goes, you know, for 45. Then he went for 60. Then he had, you know, a breakout game. He went for 80. And then all of a sudden he comes back with 59. Then he comes back with, I think, almost 100 last week. So yeah. I like this guy because he just reminds me, like, I don't know, I'm probably dating myself, but it reminds me of John Riggins. He just runs over people. And when you watch him, when you watch him make blocks, dude, I saw someone did a Scatterboo video about how crazy he is, and watch him just pounding dudes, like taking him, you know, in their face on the ground and taking guys out. I mean, I think they got a lot to look forward to. I mean, Dable's not going to be there next year. I don't think the GM's going to be there next year. I think that's pretty much a given. The Russell Wilson experience was a disaster. And look at how much better Scatterboo has gotten since Dart. Because what do you got to do now? Dart,
well, that's what I'm saying.
Likes to take off and run as well.
They could be around next year, Brian, just because. I mean, who picked Scatterboo and Dart? GM. Okay, and now Daboll's got him playing well, so I mean they might save his job. Yeah. And I remember on this first one, I was like, I don't think Russell Wilson's saving Daboll's job, but maybe Jackson Dart.
Yeah, he's not. I mean, it was a little bit of a gamble to play him. I didn't really want to see it. I wanted to see the kid get some experience and stuff because I just think long term, I've seen too many really talented young quarterbacks come up and get, you know, hammered and beat up, and their offensive line's not that great. And you know, he's taken a few licks, but not anything more, you know, than would be expected from a normal NFL quarterback. So anyway, I wish this game was in New York because I think they'd be home dogs and I would like them a lot. But this game in Denver at -7, you know, Sean Payton, I just have a lot of respect for him. I think he's going to, altitude. I mean, there's just a lot. So I went Denver -7. You know, if this game's at home, I would take Giants plus, you know, 4 to 5.5 to 6, you know, but I'm going to go Denver at Denver -7. Bo Nix has not looked good this year, though. I just got to say that. You know, I was really impressed with him last year.
Me too.
I thought I thought he'd get better with the offense this year. But anyway, I think he's about ready for one of those big breakout games where he goes crazy. And I'm just not sure how much talent he really has, you know, around him. But I went Denver here. I was really interested to see with the AI pick this week because I was trying to find a way to go with the Giants. But I just couldn't. I mean, I think the biggest problem with Denver's offense is they're relying on Bo Nix too much because Dobbins and those guys, Ingram, they're doing nothing. I mean, they picked up Dobbins and, he's rushing 30, 40 yards a game. And then, with Ingram, Mims, Adkins, they're not having breakout games either, as receivers, typical 20 to 40 yards. But that's, Bo Nix likes to throw the ball down the field a little bit. Yeah, so anyway, I mean, I think Dobbins had one game of 80. Yeah, he's not getting open. I mean, I watched a lot because I had him on a prop at
I think
Sutton over yards.
Yeah, I think Sutton should just be having a much better game. He is a dog. He is like the greatest receiver. He should be having games. He's a big body guy, man. He can box out and go up for it. Mims has got the speed to go down. I don't know that they're using the combos in the right way, or that maybe just Nix is the problem. He can't get the ball to him.
Yeah, I think you got to go back out to a standard drop back. They're RPOing too much. They don't really have the backs to do that. And I think defenses are saying, hey, they're going to throw the ball more than they're going to run it. And so let's kind of, use our defense, that's best for them being in that position. So they're guessing right and they're right. So anyway, but I took Denver. Begrudgingly, I took Denver. When we picked the games, I was like, man, I really want to go with the Giants here. But I'm going to take Denver -7.
Yeah, every money line model we have is Broncos. So Broncos, win this game according to every money line model we have. Our consensus is 84.84 chance to win the game.
Wow.
Which I think is high. The book is 0.75 though. I think the book is high.
I know.
And the spread by the book is -7, at least last I looked. That's what I have at this point. And that power rank model is -7. So, the power rank model is 70%, 0.7 to win. Again, book is 0.75. Remove the VIG, you're probably right there at 0.7. So you got the 0.7, and then you've got the -7 spread. And our power rank model has this game 26-19, 7-point spread, right? So it's right on the money, like I was saying today. And then, but we've got a bunch of other models. I mean, all the other models, we've got one that's -10. And then we've got one where the Giants actually win by a point. Sorry, the Giants win by a point. One model that shows that, and then the rest of the models having them covering by 5, by 1, by 5, and our consensus is 5. So our consensus is -5. So that means the Giants cover the 7 spread based on our consensus, but Denver wins the game. So I don't know. Maybe I would take a Denver -6.5. I'll probably take a 2.5 on some parlays. I don't know if I'm willing to go to 7. Maybe. But based on what I'm seeing with our spreads covering and our spreads being so well lately, I don't know. So I'll give that some more thought. I think moneyline Broncos on a lot of parlays, -2.5 Broncos, and then maybe Jets +7.5. Maybe not plus. I'm sorry, Giants.
I'm taking Giants +7.5 as well.
Yeah, so maybe the Giants +7.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So we both kind of agree on that. That's like play both sides, perhaps.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to the last one before we get to our dogs, even though I think we've been taking some dogs. Dak is coming off a big performance. Let's talk about the Commanders and the Cowboys. Dak's coming off a big performance. We just talked a little bit about that, where his defense let him down again. He puts up 261 and 3 TDs. Dowdle for Carolina burned that defense, man. He went for 183 yards on the ground and 56 through the air in receiving yards. He seemed like he had a grudge, didn't he? Bryce threw for almost 200 and 3 touchdowns, man. Bryce is doing pretty good this year, man. I think he's quiet. He's quiet. He's a quiet, mediocre quarterback, man. He had a good day again. I guess anybody can have a good day against that Dallas pass D, though, but it can't stop the run either. So Jaden Daniels, Commanders, they play the Bears, and basically they just lay a stinker at the end, man. He threw a pick in the red zone. That was his fault, and then he fumbled late in the game to give the Bears the game.
I mean, they win the game if they don't fumble. Yeah, I mean, they win the game if they don't fumble. It's over. You know, and I had
Everybody's
Washington.
talking about. I don't like all the talk about, oh, the Bears are back. They're great. No, they were going to lose that game if it's not raining.
They got gifted.
But Jaden fumbled. And he's a star player and he gets paid not to fumble. So, there is that too.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, like if you watch the handoff, I just think he was indecisive making the move because the thing hit the guy right in the middle of the chest. And, it goes down.
The ball's moving in his hands when he gets it. It's never really just like, it's like, it just goes everywhere.
Yeah, they lose, they win the game. I mean, I think they're going to come out fired up. I like this game. I know it's at Dallas. But, as everyone knows, I'm not going to beat a drum. It's Dak being Dak, and I don't think Dallas is very good. I saw CeeDee Lamb was taking some snaps today, but Washington's also going to get McLaurin back, and I think that could have a big effect on this game. Is he coming back this week? Yeah, he's questionable, but Quinn said, he's probably going to play.
What about snaps.
Brown? Noah Brown's out. They put him on injured reserve.
Okay, I hadn't caught that note yet, so I couldn't remember if he was on.
But I think he's going to be able to throw the ball. Daniel's going to be able to run the ball. McCroskey, I thought he had a good game. He rushed for over 100 yards. So I like Washington this game. It's -1.5. That's it feels like typical Dallas Washington game. 3-point field goal at the end to win it. I mean, if Dallas gets the ball, their kicker we know can kick it from 90. So, I hope Washington ends up with the ball
at the end of the game.
I just think that Dallas
and he doesn't fumble.
I mean, the Dallas defense is just pathetic. I mean, they allow the 6th most rushing attempts, the 8th most rushing yards, the 3rd most targets. They allow the most receiving yards to a running back. They allow the 8th most receiving yards to a wide receiver. They allow the 2nd most receiving yards to a wide receiver. They allow the most receiving touchdowns to a wide receiver. And McLaurin coming back, he should have, I think he's going to have a big game. I like Daniels. I think Daniels was a little rusty, which was expected. He'd been out. He'd been injured. The knee looked pretty good. So I went Dallas minus, I went Washington -1.5. I'm sorry. I just, I haven't been a fan of Dallas. I'm never going to be a fan of Dallas with Dak at the quarterback spot. They're banged up. CeeDee's coming back. But, and everyone's like, oh, Pickens, he's breaking out. No, he's not. He's the only target they have. I mean, Dak has to throw the ball to Pickens. I mean, they just don't have a lot of options. So, anyway, I went Washington -1.5. I actually like this game.
Again, the power rank model we've been talking about that follows that spread has the Commanders winning this game 23-22. So very close. The spread is 2.5. Yep. This is a 1-point game on our power rank model, but does have the Commanders winning this game. That's one of the only models that has the Commanders winning this game, though. So the rest of the models have Cowboys winning this game. So the consensus money line is Cowboys 0.69 to win this game, which is actually pretty freaking high.
Wow.
And I got a -4 on one spread. That's our biggest spread. Our second biggest spread is -4 as well. One's a -4.4, one's a -4.2. Our consensus is -2. Consensus is -2 Cowboys.
Yeah.
So like you said, this could go either way. It could go Cowboys field goal, they win by 3. Commanders field goal, they win by 3, right? So I don't know. Maybe take a +3.5 both sides.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be a field goal game. The 1.5. I just think Washington has a better team. And I think after, I can't see them having another letdown after the way they just lost. I don't know. I like this game. I'm just not a Dallas fan. So I went Washington 1.5.
I got you. Yeah. I mean,
I'm actually going to push it all the way to 6.5.
I think they're both kind of. I think it's a pick 'em almost, man, to a field goal game. Something like that.
I think so. I took 1 or 2 parlays. I moved to 6.5 on the ones that I really moved. Same thing. I included Tampa. I included Denver, and then I included my dog. So.
Yeah, so you disclosed your dog right before we started recording today. So and you've got your jersey on there that you're picking the dog to kind of at least plus the points. You're not picking them to upset them, but you're picking them to cover, at least in some realm. So why don't you go ahead and tell us about the Raiders there, because you like Vegas.
My dog is the Raiders plus 13.
You like Vegas like every week on this show, man.
And I'm winning with them, baby.
I like Vegas.
If Gino doesn't throw 3 picks, we're in every game. But like the one thing, if you look traditionally, just go back and look at the Kansas City games against the Raiders. The Raiders always play them tough. I think they get hyped up for it. I think Max wants some of Mahomes' ass, and I'm hoping he gets it, because I want to see the Raiders upset him at Arrowhead, because we're getting them again at the end of the season here in Vegas. But anyway, I just think it's too many points. It's too many points. Go back and look at this game. Ends up being because they beat them. They beat them there before. So anyway, I think 13 points. I saw a little steam because I was just looking at.
I've got an 11.5 spread. Has it changed?
Yeah, I just saw it go to 11.5 too. 11, 11.5, 12, 12, 11.5, 11.5. So there's some steam coming in that way. I locked in at 13 right when these lines came out. I go too much. And so
I never
put
saw
some parlays 13, in.
But I'll definitely do a 14.5, man, on a parlay. I'll do a plus 14.5 for the Raiders. I mean, yeah, definitely on parlays. I know it's not going to give you a lot of juice, but it's going to give you a minus, I don't know, minus 115, minus 125, minus 135.
Yeah, I mean, even 11.5 is 108 and 105. You're getting a good vig even at the 11.5. But
I mean, 14.5 is minus 162 right now. So you put that with
a little too much for me.
Yeah, if you look at this consensus here, I got a 43, so it looks like it's going to go under. That's what we're looking at. So if it goes under,
45.5, yeah.
Raiders
45.5 now.
But
I think it's going over.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I just see the whole Rashee Rice coming back, man, and that being a game changer, man, with Rice and Worthy.
Yeah.
So
we'll see how game fit he is. 6.
That's true.
A long time, man. So we'll see how game fit he is. If he's going to be on a snap count, I'm sure. So we'll see, but I think it's over, and I took the points. So
okay. So in terms of the AI,
I'll take the points.
We got the Chiefs winning, but the consensus money line is 0.51, which is very odd to me. And then I've got one spread of minus 1.7. And then my next lowest spread is minus 4.7. So, and then the consensus is minus 7, which means Raiders cover 13, cover 11, cover 10, right? They cover all that. So I think 11.5 is probably a good way to go. I mean, it's definitely more than 10.5. I was thinking about taking 10.5 before the line even came out. So, it's a 2-score game. But I mean, I think Genty has to have a really good game, and Gino can't throw 3 picks. So.
Right. I mean, the biggest problem with the Raiders is we have a quarterback that leads the league in interceptions, and he puts them behind the 8 ball all the time. And that way, it changes the offense. It's not so much that he throws the picks; it's that it changes the offense, and you got to come from behind, so they got to throw the ball. They're best when they can key on Jaunty run first, which opens up Jacoby Myers and Tucker. I mean, it opens up these guys for the long down the field pass. So. Anyway, I like the Raiders here. I mean, I like this game a lot, actually, for the Raiders. So, anyway, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, so I'm going to take reluctantly a little bit, but the AI says to do it. Now, in terms of the AI, we've already taken some dogs, man. So we took Dallas and we took Tampa Bay. So
we disagreed on most of them this week. Actually,
I may end up taking the Dolphins too against Cleveland, because I don't know that Dylan Gabriel can throw himself out of a paper bag. So and then there's
what happens when you play those young kids like that without time to get some NFL experience, man. That's what I worried about for Jackson Dart too.
But the reluctant team I'm taking this week is the Cardinals, man, because they have the exact same pattern of spreads that we saw for the Carolina-Dallas game and the Falcons-Bills game. So they look the exact same as those two games, and we know what happened in those games. Carolina beat the Cowboys, and they weren't supposed to, by 3. And the Falcons beat the Bills, and they weren't supposed to, by 7 or 10. It was more than 7. It was like 14 or 10, right? It was a 2-score game at the end because Josh Allen threw the pick, and even if he throws it, they're in an onside kick game. So at the end of the day, we got the same patterns that we saw with those two games. So it's kind of silly not to bet on that when you've had success with it. So I'm going to take the Cardinals. I'm reluctant on it. The spread is 6.5 though. So it gives you
6.5, yeah.
I might go to 7.5 on parlays, obviously, just to cover the full touchdown. Because you've got like 6 legs on a parlay. You can afford the half point or the full point buy there. So I'll probably take 7.5 on parlays, but I'll probably put a straight in at plus 6.5 and see what happens, man. Because the models have been screaming lately pretty well in this particular pattern. The money line has the Cardinals winning the game, 0.55. The power.
You just don't know what Green Bay team's going to show up. That's the biggest question mark.
I know.
Sometimes Green Bay. Yeah, that first game against the Lions, we were all like, "Damn, these guys are going to win. They're going to the Super Bowl."
I know. And then the next game,
I don't know, man.
Crap.
They've thrown some bangers in, man. And they're being really,
and then they look bad,
and they're being a little weird about Kyler.
What now?
Yeah, I saw a couple of interviews. Is Kyler going to play?
Yeah,
it seems like he may. Are you going to get
that's kind of what I got from the coach. And then they asked the coach if he's healthy, is he going to play, or if he's ready to suitably play. So it wasn't even like he might not even be 100%. He said when Kyler's ready to go, he's going to play. There is no quarterback.
Exactly.
He basically.
That's what makes me think he's. Yeah. That's what makes me think he's going to play. So, yeah. I just think the problem that Arizona has is they have no backs. Dave McCardo is. With the injuries they've had to Connor and Benz. And then you're going to take that Green Bay defense that is just going to be all over either Kyler Murray or Jacoby Brissett. So I can't go Cardinals. It's interesting though because that AI has been dialed in, man, on those games. So I see you want to play it, but I took Green Bay in this game. I'm
probably taking Green Bay minus 2.5 and Green Bay money line on some parlays, man. But I'm definitely going to throw the hat in the ring given what we've seen. I would never bet this given what I know substantively about these teams, right? Given the models are saying what they're saying, and they said it for the Falcons, and everybody was like, "No way, the Falcons are beating the Bills." And then, I think we both kind of thought Carolina would keep it close and they could win the game. So I don't think that was that surprising. Cowboys can win early, right? They're 50-50. So I don't think that we thought that was that surprising. But that Falcons game is pretty surprising to a lot of people. Some people not. They were calling it, but we've seen this pattern, so I'm going to go with it. So. All right, so Brian, I think we agree on Chargers money line. I have the Colts covering. I think you got the Commanders. I got
Chargers.
You got the Chargers. We both have the Chargers money line. You got Chargers covering too, minus 1.5. You're going to put them on minus 1.5.
Yep.
I've got the Cowboys. You've got the Commanders, right? We both have the Bucks covering, right?
Yep.
Let's see what's our last game then that we haven't hit on. That
Giants, Denver. I got Denver covered.
I got Denver, but we both have the Giants covering plus 7.5, right?
Yeah, I got Denver minus 7, and then the Washington game minus 1.5.
Okay, so you got Denver.
Yeah, we actually disagree quite a bit.
Yeah, we disagree almost every game. It's kind of interesting.
That's interesting. That's never happened before.
No, it's the first week that we've had this, man. It's kind of it's very interesting. What will our listeners choose?
Yeah.
So, and then I got the Cardinals reluctantly as a little bit of a dog, taking the points, probably plus 7.5. And then your dog is the Raiders, right?
The
Raiders.
I
confirm
the Raiders.
I confirmed that with the AI.
Just win, baby.
So we actually agree on the Raiders as a dog. So that's what we agree on. That's probably the most thing. And Chargers money line. Those are the two things.
I want to see him go in and win the game outright. I really do. I think KC deserves to lose this game.
I mean, I agree too, but I don't see it happening.
Raiders.
I don't see it happening. Okay, so reminder, you can get these data-backed model-driven insights all season long. Sign up for Prop Juice at propjuice.ai. Cancel at any time. Come see what Prop Juice AI has to offer. Again, sync your books across your favorite books. Track how you perform each week. player props, game picks. We're launching the NBA next week. It tips off on Tuesday night. You got Luka Doncic and little skinny Luka coming back for the Lakers there.
He looks great. He's in shape. You know, they play all the preseason games out here. Been checking him out, man. He looks good. He looks like
he does look
the
good.
best shape I've seen him in a while.
He had like 25 and like 7 or 8 assists and 4 rebounds, man, in 22 minutes.
Yeah. I think the Lakers should have done a trade for LeBron and picked up a bunch of talent, and then I'd really liked him.
Probably, yeah. So don't forget to get that ticker for your man cave or your sports pub or your sports bar. Go to Amazon, get one delivered right to your doorstep. Use that discount code PropJuice at checkout. Get 10% off your purchase. We've been seeing a lot of our friends and family and PropJuice users posting their odds boards and tickers, man. They've been getting from Skybox, and we encourage all our listeners to go check out tickers and odds boards over there at Skybox. Spread the word, like the channel, come back next week. Brian, you got any kind of closing remarks here?
Nope, ready to go. I mean, it's a tough week this week. I mean, I think last week, the games I told people to stay away from, I should have, stayed away from one of them myself. It ended up costing me, which was the Dallas game. I mean, I said it, stay away from this game. I just got a bad feeling, and I was right.
And then you didn't go with
that.
That
cost me a huge parlay.
And then you didn't go with that.
And then I had a 13 gamer going to Washington too that I ended up losing because of a fumble. So it was like, there's no way we should have lost money last week. I mean, I was 3 out of 4, with my selections, and I had 2 other ones that I won and 1 other one that I pushed on. So it was, all in all, pretty disappointing week for myself and the group. It shouldn't happen when you win that many games. You win it at 75%. You should,
I know,
you should be booking profits. So that's bad betting. I got to take responsibility for, it's good capping, but bad betting. So
same here. I mean,
anyway,
when you have an opportunity at 20K, you could cash out for 7 and you end up with 3. I mean, it's
terrible. Yep, I agree. Live and learn, baby.
Yeah. All right, guys. Spread the word. Like the channel. Come back next week from the cave. Man versus machine pits expert capper Brian Riner against PropJuice data back machine. Catch next week's episode on Thursday before kickoff to week 8 games. We're already in week 8, midweek, basically about midpoint of the season.
Flying.
Right? It's crazy, man.
Yep.
Again, I had a great time talking ball today. I didn't feel so good. I actually had like a little bit of a stomach issue, and I felt like I had a little bit of a fever today. But I think I brought it home for us, baby. So
yeah, you brought it home. You're a trooper, brother.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good week. See y'all next week on
See ya.
From the Cave, Man vs. Machine.